Alrighty guys, so it is time for part 1 of the Dave build. So today we're going to be starting the chassis extension. I do need to create the files and such for it. I haven't even started measuring. I just got the body in today. I've already filmed one video for this just to show you guys. Hopefully you've seen it. But here's the body if you haven't. Nice square body. And I am excited to get this built. So as you can see, it's it's a lot longer. So we're going to be making some chassis extensions. And I'm going to be somewhat using the design of the sleek RC chassis extension for the big country Duramax that we have. I should be able to measure that. Obviously, this is not as long as the Duramax. As you can see right there, the Duramax is definitely a big truck. But hopefully I can get this made pretty easily. Then I'll have to make up some body mounts and such. But we'll see how this goes. I'm going to add some cuts in of me designing the actual extension and such. But let's get into it. Alrighty, so we've got the body taped together because the bed is separate. I'm going to have to get some wheelbase measurements. I've got my CAD open to create this file. Got my caliper and stuff set, so I'm going to get to work. So there we go. Coming back, we should be done with this part. Next, we're going to move on to the links. So far, this looks good. I'll get it printed. As you can see, nice and thick. The shock mounts shouldn't break. I hope not. But yeah, I'll move on to the links now. Alrighty, so I've got my 3D printer up to temp. Just gonna load in the file. So the first one I'm gonna do is the chassis extension. One thing I did forget is I'm gonna have to make a tube for the drive shafts to extend the drive shafts. So that'll be the next thing I make. But yeah, I'm gonna let that sit, and I'll come back throughout the print and just show you guys. But yeah. Alrighty, so we are about 24 minutes into the print. Looking pretty good so far. Still pretty thin. See if I can get a, yeah, still pretty thin. But it is going good. Looks pretty good. Doesn't seem to be coming off the build plate or anything. So I'll come back probably one more time before it's over and just show you the formation of it, because this isn't really showing much. So yeah, I'm gonna come back in a second when it's about 3/4 complete. Alrighty, so the extension is done. I'm gonna get it off the build plate and get a closer look at it. Alrighty, so now that I have got it off the build plate, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty strong. Got a few things I gotta knock off of it like that. That was from the adhesion thing. But the holes seem to be in pretty good condition. Same as these holes. So yeah, looks pretty good. The bottom of it did mess up a little bit. That's from all the hairspray I've got on it. I've got to clean the build plate off. But I'm going to see if it fits in between the rails. And then we will start the links. I'll actually start the links now. I'm not going to worry about printing another one of these right now. I think it'll fit. It looks like it'll fit. But yeah, let's see. Alrighty, so here I have the chassis extension. It's a little wide. It's kind of pushing the frame rails out just a little bit. So I'm gonna sand it down a little bit. Other than that, I mean, it fits really good, and it's nice and clean. The body's not gonna go in it right now because it hits on all that. I think I might have to cut it just a little bit, but I mean, we are getting there. As you can see, shock mounts are right there in the center, so that lined up good. So I'm gonna sand down on the sides of the thing, sides of this, so that I can get just a better fit, so I'm not stretching those frame rails out. I do have these short links printing right now. We'll see how that does. Alrighty, so here it is. I took the ESC and battery tray out to give the body some more room so I could just do a bit of a mock-up on it. But the shocks are what's holding it on right now. It's screwed in. It fits way better. Looks really clean. Obviously, the shocks will be back here. I just don't have the links right now to do that. So the body does sit on the chassis now. The suspension is why the rear end is so high. But there we go so far. Getting the links printed. Once those are printed, I should be able to extend it and see how good it looks. See how it matches up. It looks like we can get it lined up correctly. Like I said, the shock mount lines up pretty good. So, very happy so far. Hopefully it keeps going good. Alrighty, so here is the first link. This is the short link for the rear. And I made it so that it would accommodate the aftermarket pivot balls. But then again, I didn't, because I completely forgot to measure the width of it, and the link itself is too wide. So, back to the drawing board. I just gotta make it a little bit skinnier. It's 5 millimeters thick, so I'll probably do about 3. I'm gonna measure and make sure, so that I don't have to keep wasting plastic. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Alrighty, so here is the link that I printed. It's a lot thinner compared to the first one I did. Let's flip it over. This one's 3.2 where that one was 5. Just one thing when printing is it came off the build plate and warped. I'm still going to use it for now until I can get another one printed. But this should work. It should be the right length. I've got the pivot balls in it. So this is the short link. This is actually the long link. So, yep, it should still be right. If it's not, I'll think if I bend it back a little bit, put some heat to it or whatever, it should be good. But I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing the rear end apart to get the links on it. But yep, I'm gonna go ahead and start that while I've got the other links printing. Alrighty, so I've been hard at work for this thing. I do have a bad back, so I've kind of been limited. I'm having some back problems, but I've gotten a lot done on it. So I've got the extension on. It was perfect and wheelbase and everything. The next thing I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to make that drive shaft. When we did the big country chassis, it came with an extra body mount, so I used that. It lined up perfectly. Put some Velcro on it, and now I can get the body mounted. The next thing for the cab to fit on, I cut up the battery tray. I didn't technically have to do all that, but I'm going to clean that up so it kind of looks cool. But the next thing for the body, which was probably the most scary thing I've done so far, is cut it. So I've got the body to fit it. So I'm going to set you guys down and show you what I've done to the body. Alright, so here's the body. Like I said, I've cut it up and I've done a few things to it. Immediately, you can see the grill. I've got it painted and it looks amazing. Painted it silver. I used this because that's what I had. Metallic, aluminum, indoor, outdoor, plastic, metal, whatever. Spray paint, because that's what I had that left over from something. Then I used some model paint to do the bow tie. Very nice touch. I put the paint on really thick for the bow tie, so it didn't look as flat as it was. The next thing is the body is taped together again. I took it apart so I could, fit the chassis and stuff a little bit better, so that I can mount the body and such. But you look under here, I cut the holes for the shocks. It is very scary cutting into this resin because it is really soft. You have got to be super careful because I was cutting the body, as you can see here, so that it would fit around the frame rails. And when I did, it cracked all the way up the back. I used, which was probably a bad idea to begin with, but I used these. Immediately I figured out not to use those. So if you do get a resin body of any sort, please be careful, because you'll break it pretty easily if you don't know what you're doing. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I kind of broke it. But it's in good shape now. Alrighty, so here we go. I know I said I was going to 3D print a drive shaft extension, but I decided against that. So we didn't use the 3D printer for this, and the drive shaft is still drying. So what I did was I took a spare, I have a ton of spare stock SCX24 drive shafts, so I used this spare long drive shaft right here, and I connected it to the short splined end of the drive shaft. I've got it glued together so that it doesn't have any pivot points on it, and it actually lines up really good with these drive shafts. So kind of rigged, but I'd like to see how it works. And I think it's gonna look better than the dually drive shaft. Right now we are packing up, or I'm packing up for the Hyperfest. But you can look there, that's what the dually drive shaft piece looks like. It's like glued in one spot. I think this one will look more like a proper drive shaft. But yeah, that's what we've got going on. Also, this will, because it's got the splined in and stuff, this is going to be able to slide back and forth, and so like if it flexes at all, which we don't have to worry about that because we don't have enough flex, but it's just a perk. So it's not perfectly straight, but pretty straight. But yeah, it went pretty good. I'm gonna wait for this to dry, and then we will definitely throw it on the truck. Alrighty, so I've got the drive shaft in. I am going to take some sandpaper and clean it up, but it is on. As you can see, it does have a little wobble in it, which I think I can clean up. But yeah, I'll show you guys it driving. I'm going to throw the body on real quick just to see what it looks like. Alrighty, so here we go. The rear end is lifted up a lot because of the shocks, which is definitely going to change when we get the dually set up on there. Four-wheel drive though. Drives really smooth. You can kind of see the drive shaft in there wobbling around. We'll get that fixed. But man, she is running and driving. That's pretty awesome. Definitely not even full throttle. There's full throttle. We are only running a 66 turn in there. But yeah, there we go. So, Now that we have the body cut up and attached, some parts of it are painted, the grill, it is time to end off this video. So like and subscribe, guys. Hit the notification bell so you can see part 2 of this build. I think part 2 will be adding the dually setup, and then we may paint the body. Comment down what color we should paint the body. Comment down below, and I think I'm going to paint it blue, but I'm not too sure. So comment down below what you think I should paint the body, and I'll see you guys in the next one.